For those of you who have known me for many years, you know that country music has been one of the passions of my life, and getting to know entertainers, listening to music, watching music, coming to live shows. Well, today we're at the live show capital of the world in Branson, Missouri, and we're going to have some interviews and some people on the program. They're going to give us some information and entertain us a little bit with stories of country music and traveling, touring, recording. So join us on Health and Information as we talk to a country music legend from Branson, Missouri.
Where were you when the lights went out? Who did you call and when you gave them a shout? Did they pick up the phone? Did you get a machine or some front office drone? You know what I mean. You want to talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about. So call Marie now. Electricians with a mission will get you connected with Marie Electric.
Hi, this is Larry Murray with Murray Electric. We appreciate your business and we don't take you for granted. While nobody likes to have electrical problems, we want you to know that we will be here for you when you do need an electrician. And remember, you don't get phone shuffle when you call Murray Electric, because we have a real live electrician that answers the telephone. Remember, if you're in a hurry, call Murray, 918-835-9605. 918-835-9605.
We'll get you connected with Marie Electric.
An accident can turn your life upside down. Immediately, you may face problems like who will treat your injuries? How will your car get fixed? What are you going to drive in the meantime? You need solutions now. At Benedict Law Office, the care you deserve can begin at your own home. No office visit is necessary, and you pay no fee if there's no recovery.
At Benedict Law Office, there are no problems, only solutions.
Call Benedict Law Office for your free consultation today.
Hi, I'd like to welcome you to Health and Information. This is November for 2014. I'm Dr. James Bissland, and we'd like to welcome you to Branson, Missouri. This is our second or third program from Branson. Those of you who watch our program regularly will know that 2 years ago we were down at the Starlight Theater, and we did an interview and discussion with Wilson Fairchild, which is Will and Langdon Reed, and with country music legend Ed Bruce. Well, today we have another country music legend with us who has 17 number one records, 39 top 10, and even has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I'd like to welcome Mickey Gilley. Welcome to the program.
Dr. James, pleasure, honor being on the show with you.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to do it, and we've all been fans of yours for many years, and been to the theater I can't know how many times over the last 20 years since we've been up back in this part of the country. First thing I'd like to get started is everybody always wants to know, with anybody who has been a success in the music business, is what was your original motivation? What got you interested, number one, in music, and what got you started? How did you get started?
I actually started back when I was 13 years old, singing in church with my mom. And of course, I was raised in a musical family. My cousin Gilley Lewis and Reverend Jimmy Swaggart ahead of me when Gilley started with recording for Sun Records back in the 50s. I was doing construction work in Houston, and I wasn't doing very well as far as making a decent living. I saw that the money situation was a lot better in the music industry, so I tried to follow my cousin Gilley into the music industry, not knowing at the time that everybody would accuse me of trying to copy him. But other than that, it's been a great ride.
So you were living in Houston, and were you recording at that time then when you were in Houston?
I grew up in Fairdale, Louisiana with Jimmy and Jerry. There's only 6 months difference in our age. I'm the youngest of the three of us, and I'm now 78 years old. Jimmy and Jerry are, Jerry Lee is 6 months older than I am, and Jimmy's a year older than I am. So I'm the youngest of the three. We grew up in Fairdale together, and we all three went to the same school and the same church, and that's how we got motivated in the music industry, because Jerry Lee started playing at an early age. I didn't consider playing piano and singing professionally in the music industry until Jerry Lee hit with a whole lot of shaking.
So then...
Oh, you asked me if I was recording in Houston.
Right.
My first record in Houston was in 1957, and of course, Jerry Lee's first hits were in 55, 56, I think, 56.
So you just played more to the local Houston scene for that time frame?
Well, I made my first record in 1957, and I jumped in the music industry at that time, and it wasn't a very good ride at the beginning, but I enjoyed doing the music scene, and I played a lot of different clubs. But my first chart record was in 1959 with a song called "Is It Wrong for Loving You?"
So you recorded and got charted as early as that, 59.
My first chart record was 1959. I started in 1957. My first record that made the charts, first time I heard myself on the radio, was in 1959 with a song called "Is It Wrong for Loving You?" I didn't hear myself again on the radio until 1963 when I recorded a song called "Lonely Wine." And then I had some mediocre play on some of the recordings I made in between there, but my first major hit was in 1974 with "Roomful of Roses."
And that was after you did the Houston TV show, is that correct?
That was after I did the television show, after I acquired Gilley's in Pasadena, Texas in 1971.
So when you had the first hit that you heard on the radio, how would you describe the way you feel hearing yourself sing on the radio?
Well, at the time, I thought it was, it was awesome, because that's the first time I'd ever heard myself performing. I'd heard my cousins many, many times, so it was quite a thrill to hear your voice on the radio after you've struggled for several years trying to have a hit. The incredible thing about the first record I made that made the charts, the guy that played the bass on the recording session was Kenny Rogers.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
That's a little musical trivia for you.
There you go. You never know what we're going to learn in these
That's right.
discussions.
But that's something else you probably don't know, too. If you're a country music connoisseur, you probably know about the guy Johnny Bush.
Absolutely.
He wrote Whiskey River. He played the drums on my first recording session in 1957, and this song did absolutely nothing for Mickey Gilley, but 50-something years later, the Yoplait Yogurt Company in Ireland used it in a commercial and sent me a total of $55,000 for it.
You never know what's going to happen, do you?
So I thought that maybe some of the viewers out there and the listeners may want to know that too. I mean, the song was called "Ooh Wee Baby," and when I got the email from the Yoplait Yogurt Company in Ireland, I sent them an email back and I said, "Evidently you must have the wrong Ooh Wee Baby." And they sent me an email and they said, "Well, the record we got is Mickey Gilley singing it, and the writer on it is Mickey Gilley. Are you the same person?" And so I sent them an email back and I said, "Yes. What's the going rate for the commercial?" So they used it 3 years and sent me a total of $55,000.
Well, that's nice.
But a 30-second clip of the song.
Yeah, that was worth doing.
Well, it was a windfall. I thought I hit the lottery.
I can believe, especially then, when going back that long. So, of course, we know about Gilley's, the nightclub in Pasadena. When did that originally open?
We opened in March of 1971, and the only reason the club opened up was because I had thrown the towel in as far as my recording career was concerned. Because, like I said, I only had 2 chart records, "Is It Wrong for Loving You" and "Lonely Wine" in 1963. So in 1971, when I went into business with Sherwood Cryer there on the Spencer Highway, and the club was called Shelley's, he changed the name and put Gilley's on it, and the club became successful almost immediately because he started advertising. We had billboards, we had radio ads out there, and now I got a local TV show. I walked in the club one night, and the lady that had the jukebox in Gilley's, she said, "Today on your TV show, you did my favorite song." And I said, "What was it?" And she said, "She called me baby all night long." And I said, yes. I said, Harlan Howard tune. She said, I know where it came from. She said, I'm in the jukebox business. I said, well, great, I'm glad you enjoyed the song. She said, I want you to record it for me. And I said, what for? She said, because I got 300 jukeboxes. I'm going to put it on all of them. I said, get Harlan Howard's version of it. She said, you can't get the record anymore. It's out of print. So long story short, I went in to make the recording of She Called Me Baby. For the flip side, I recorded Room Full of Roses.
And that became the first number one?
That was the first national hit I had. It went number one in the nation.
So Gilley's then opened and stayed open for, about 18 years?
It burned in 1989, I think, when it went up in flames. I had gotten out of the business with him in 1986, I think. I won a lawsuit against him because I didn't like the way he was operating the club.
So, of course, everybody knows Gilley's because of the Paramount picture, the Urban Cowboy, that was done.
Right, the film The Urban Cowboy with John Travolta.
Tell us a little bit about that, your experiences with filming that movie and how that came about.
Well, I never really thought that Paramount Pictures was going to do the film until I saw the Paramount trucks coming into the parking lot of the old nightclub there on Spencer Highway. And Jim Bridges, who directed the film, he also directed China Syndrome. And he told us at the time that Gilley's would never be the same after the film was released, and he was totally correct. It really changed everything. The club became very popular and very famous, and we had about 5 years that it was incredible. And, of course, it started to deteriorate, and that's when I filed a lawsuit to take my name off it.
So after it burned in 1989, then you never rebuilt it?
It hadn't been rebuilt, although we do have a club in Las Vegas at Treasure Island. We have a Gilley's there. We have one in Sparks, Nevada at the Nugget. We have two in Oklahoma, one in Durant, Oklahoma, and one in Pensacola, Oklahoma. And we have one in Dallas. They all got Gilley's, our logo on it. And we have the Mechanical Bulls in each place. And I'm trying to get the one rebuilt in Pasadena.
Yeah, now I've been to the one at Treasure Island in Vegas.
That's probably the one that I am most proud of, because Mr. Ruffin, who owns the Treasure Island, has done a fabulous job with that particular night spot.
Well, I never got the chance to go to the one in Pasadena.
You didn't miss a whole lot.
No. During its heyday, I was in college in Davenport, Iowa, and that was nowhere near Houston. So.
Well, Houston, Gilley started out at a great, fun place to go. It deteriorated to be what I ended up calling a joint, and that's what it was. It wasn't the kind you smoke, but it was a real joint. And when it closed, I was happy to see it closed. When it burnt, I wasn't happy about it, but I wasn't sad either.
Didn't break your heart?
Gilley's is one of the best things that ever happened to me, and one of the worst things that ever happened to me when I opened that club.
Well, what effect did both the nightclub and the movie have on your career as an individual?
It opened up, the film opened up every door that I've ever wanted to be open for me in the United States. I got to play all the main showrooms in Vegas, Reno, Tahoe, Atlantic City. I got to go to Europe. I got to come back and play for two presidents, President Ronald Reagan, President George Bush. They gave me a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They invited me to come to Hollywood and do some acting roles. So it opened up a lot of doors for me.
Yeah, I think the one that I remember seeing you on was on Fantasy Island.
Well, I did Fantasy Island. I did The Fall Guy. I did Dukes of Hazzard. I did Murder, She Wrote. I did Chips with Eric Estrada, So I had a run there where we did quite a few different things.
That's right. I do remember the Dukes of Hazzard. It was interesting. A few years ago, we were up here for the car parade, and we got to meet the guy that played Roscoe.
Oh, yeah.
So that was kind of an interesting...
We were mentioning that the other day. Yeah, the guy that played the sheriff.
Sheriff, yes.
Yeah.
That was a neat thing. You've done a lot of duets as well, probably most notably with Charlie McClain.
Well, the only duet that hit for me was with Charlie McClain. Paradise Tonight was #1 for us. I did one with Barbie Benton, too. It made the charts, national charts, but it didn't do very well. But, of course, she was on Hee Haw, and she was recording for Playboy Records the same as I. So that was the only two duets I did. Although I've done some duets with the girls that sing with me on the stage at my theater here in Branson. I've done some with Penny Carden. I've done some with Stephanie Hall. I did some with Casey Bays. And so I've done a few things here and there, that with other people. But the only one that's been a #1 song was Paradise Tonight with Charlie McClain.
Well, growing up during that era in the mid 80s, Charlie was one of my favorite female entertainers. So, and then I had several of you and Mo Bandy and several others that I liked from the male category. When you two did the duet together, it was just amazing. And
I met Charlie at when we did the little bit on Chips. They had a bar scene, and me and Johnny Lee was doing a little cameo appearance. And I asked Charlie, because she was performing on that particular episode, about doing duets. And about 5 months later, I was in Nashville, and I got a call from her record producer, and that's how I ended up going down to the recording studio. And they were working on her song, Paradise Tonight. And he asked me about doing it as a duet. And I walked down the studio, and about an hour and 15, 20 minutes later, we'd recorded the song. And I didn't think too much of the tune at first, but about 15 weeks later, it was #1 on the country music charts. So I had to admit that it was a pretty good song.
so then you liked it.
Well, I always like anything that goes #1.
Exactly. That certainly didn't hurt things as we went along. You came to Branson first when?
This is my 25th year. I came here. Actually, I played Branson in 1987 at the Roy Clark Celebrity Theater. And then I acquired the property here in 89 going into 90. And then in 93, the theater burnt. I rebuilt. And me and my friend Conway Twitty shared the theater for a while together. And then it burnt in 93. He later passed away in that same year. So I took it on my own. And me and my friend Joey Riley, who had 17-year run, who died of colon cancer at 43, we had a great run for about 17 years together.
Yeah, well, of course, we know Joey, and we've done some things with him over the years. And I got a couple things I'm going to go ask you in just a few minutes about Joey, because there's a lot of things that people have asked me since.
Well, I did volume 1 of the comedy skits that we did together, and I did that so that I could help his wife, because he died without any insurance or anything. So I did put this thing together. And the volume 2 is going to be, I think, something I think we'll all be proud of, because we did have some magic moments on the stage. And volume 2 is going to be ready, hopefully, by the end of this year.
Yeah, well, we'll go ahead and I'll go through my questions, because, as you said, you had 17 plus years with Joey here. And the first time that I remember seeing Joey was probably 19 years ago. We came and Branson saw your show for the first time. And, of course, we had no idea that there was anything about Branson. We were new. We'd moved back up to Oklahoma from Florida. And so Branson was a new experience for us. And so I remember when I introduced Joey on stage at a benefit he did for me back in 2003. I said, we were at a country music concert, and next thing I know, a comedian broke out. Kind of related to, you went to a hockey game and a fight broke out, or you went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. And that's kind of how I saw it with Joey. And, he did the benefit for us back 11 years ago.
Yeah, Joey was real quick when it comes. He was very quick-minded. And I used to, we'd come up with a punchline on a joke, and I'd bring him in, and we'd talk about it just for a second. I said, here's the punchline. He said, how do you want to do it? And I said, let's ad-lib it. And if it worked, we left it in. If it wasn't, we didn't get a laugh with it, we threw it out. But the majority of the time, it really came off, as a magic moment for us.
I think one of my favorite things with when the two of you were on there is one of you would tell the other one to stick to the script.
Yeah, that was our outline. In other words, if we got hung up on something, we'd say, if you stick to the script, this wouldn't happen. But that was sort of a...
So was there a script? That's the question I've had. I don't know how many people I've had ask me that question since, Joey, you've met Mickey. No. Is there a script, or are they ad-libbing?
There was no script, and I didn't have a miracle here either, but he went on about it, a lot. He, it's one of those things. That and the hair, the miracle ear and the hair. I got hair, and but I didn't have a miracle ear. But we made jokes out of everything that we came across, that we thought people would enjoy. He didn't have a ranch. He didn't have a bull either. But we talked about him having one.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And those of you who
when he went to Wisconsin, he didn't really get locked up, But we talked about that too.
But he did take your bus, right?
No. But he said he did. But he did have a limousine service.
That I know. Yes.
And you know, he told the story about me having it, that I wanted to drive it, and I got in it. I took off, and him sitting in the back seat, and got stopped by the cops. And the cop went up and said to his partner, he says, "What, did you give him a ticket?" He says, "No, couldn't. They're too important." He said, "Well, too important. Well, who was driving?" He said, "I don't know, but who wasn't?" He said, "I don't know, but Mickey Gilley was driving for him." So that was one of those things that was an ad lib too. But that's an old joke, that Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis used to do, I think. Frank Sinatra.
It's always fresh though when it was done with you two. It never came across as if it was rehearsed.
Well, we tried to make it our own. We would take something and take the punchline, and then ad lib it from there. And Joey was good about being nonchalant about it, and his expressions on his face was funny.
Absolutely.
So that was what made it work for us.
Well, Joey made light of a lot of things that happened that were pretty serious. You had a plane crash when you were coming, I guess, landing at Branson or taking off.
No, I was landing.
You were landing. And, that got, I don't know how long that carried jokes between the two of you, but it was a while.
Well, his big thing was, that he created a drink. He called it Mickey Gilley on the Rocks. So that was the punchline, So we just ad-libbed around just about everything that he wanted to talk about. We would come up with a punchline, like I said, and then it was an ad-lib. And sometimes it got strung out too far. I'm putting some things together now that's going to be a lot better than the volume 1. And in fact, I had forgotten about a lot of things that we've done together. And we got on a bit the other night, starting to watch some of the video, and we got into the bit where that he was on 76, and he was trying to get down to a certain place, and I asked him, I said, something to the effect of that, I said, he said, I got stopped by the cops, and I said, were you speeding? He said, on 76, are you serious? Because, when the traffic was like bumper to bumper all the time. He said, I got stopped by about a centipede. I said, you mean the stampede? And I said, Dolly Parton owns that. He said, really? I said, yeah. He says, I said, she's got one of them. He said, she should have two. I said, she does have two of them. And we got onto that. I said, one in Pigeon Forge and one here in Branson. I said, they're spread out. And we went from there. And that was an ad lib, see? But everybody knew what we was talking about. I don't want to explain that anymore to you.
No, I don't think we need to explain that one.
I'll be telling you these little Johnny jokes, and it's going to go downhill quick.
Joey was a special guy. There's no doubt about it. We became relatively good friends over the years after he.
Well, it's incredible. Think about it for a minute. He died at age 43, young. Here I am. I'm 78. I've had heart surgery, brain surgery, back surgery, appendix breaking, bursting on me, 5 days in the hospital, 2 airplane crashes I walked away from, 78 years old, and I'm sitting here talking to you.
Well,
what's wrong with this picture?
There's got to be a reason for it.
Well, I should have been gone a long time ago.
One of the other things that I've had several of the people who have watched our program when we were talking about Joey before and doing the benefits is that you had a fall in 2010. Was that
2009, July the 5th.
Okay.
I fell backwards after having a friend of mine move a little love seat that weighed about 40 pounds. I'd played golf all day long over here at Thousand Hills Golf Course, and I was backing out of the doorway, stepped in a flower bed, fall backwards, woke up 2 days later, had a neck brace on. I was paralyzed from the neck down. I found out later that the doctors thought I'd be confined to a wheelchair the rest of my life. I'm walking, not walking like I want to, but I am walking. I can't play the piano yet. I got a 50-50 chance they tell me to ever play the piano again. And I think it's more like a 70-30 because I don't think probably, even though I hadn't given up, I don't think I'll ever play the keyboard again because my hands don't work very well.
That's tough, especially an injury like that.
But I'm going to play golf again. If I play golf, I'm singing. I'm doing my show. I don't have to play the piano. I can hire somebody to play the keyboard, although people do come to hear me, perform. And so I'm singing. I'm just not playing the piano yet.
You can't hire anybody to play golf for you, though, can you?
Well, I don't know. Do you play golf?
That would not be pretty. No.
Well, if I hired anybody at all to play golf, it'd beat me right now.
I don't know. Maybe Tiger Woods is free or something.
I don't know about that now.
Well, this weekend.
I can't get OJ because he's in prison.
That's true.
You heard about OJ and Jerry Lee playing golf together, didn't you?
I did hear that one,
Okay.
but go ahead. Tell. Not everybody's heard that one.
Well, Joey told that. Joey said he was out on the golf course and he ran into OJ and Jerry Lee playing golf. And I said, "Did you say hello to him?" And he says, "No." He said, "They went by me on the golf course." And I said, "Hey, killer!" They both waved at me.
Exactly. There you go.
That's an old joke, but it's still funny, isn't it?
Well, he keeps becoming in the news, so OJ does with different things, and I think that kind of that always makes that a headliner.
Well, let the first man without sin cast the stone.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Well, one of the reasons we're here in Branson this weekend is you have a 25th anniversary party tomorrow at the theater. And from what I understand, I was going to ask you some questions about what's going to happen there, but from what I understand, you don't know.
I don't know when you're going to air this. Now, you said tomorrow. I don't know if you're going to air this tomorrow or not, but
No, it'll be
It'll be
afterward.
today. Say if you air it, But anyway, it's going October the 5th.
October 5th, right.
Yeah, 25 years.
So you're going to have a party. By the
Well,
time this airs, it's going to be over with.
They're giving me a 25th anniversary party, and I'm not supposed to know what's going on and what's happening. I know that they changed the time from my normal performances at 8 o'clock at night, and I do a 2-hour show. I know they've narrowed me down to do an hour, and they're starting the show at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the only thing that I can tell you. I do know that Tony Orlando's going to be here. I know that I'm going to be here. I know that if you're still here, that you'll be here.
I'll be here. We're ready to go.
That's the only thing that I can tell you for sure.
I do know Casey Bays is going to be here.
Well, I heard that she was going to be here.
Yes.
Okay.
So
she was one of my urbanettes. You know what she is
Long
now?
time.
You know what she is now?
she's in Arizona.
No, she's an urbanot.
Oh, is that? Yeah, an urban knot.
I mean,
Okay.
I got a bunch of knots running around out there, so don't step on one of them.
Okay, we have to be careful about that. It's interesting because when I talk to people and they see all these people on TV, the entertainers, the stars, it's amazing. I've heard somebody say it's amazing how he made it as an overnight sensation. I don't know of anybody that I've known personally or really have heard of that in country music especially, and probably not any other one, that was an absolute overnight sensation. Went right to the top first out without ever doing anything, without paying their dues.
Oh, I don't know of anybody that's ever made it overnight either. Most of the people spend a lot of time, honing their skills before they have hits. But, I'm sure it's probably done, but it took me 17 years, and if that's an overnight, then I made it in 17 years to have the first hit record. And would you call that making it? I don't know if you call one record. I'm not a one-hit wonder. It just so happens that I had 17 go number one for me, so not as many as George Strait. George Strait's got more number ones than anybody on the planet.
That's true.
Up until the time that Conway died, he was the most successful country music star in the country. He had more number one songs than anybody. But, you take people like Loretta Lynn, Dolly Parton, Garth Brooks, Brooks and Dunn, all these people that came along that have become very successful. You get the new people on the block now, like Carrie Underwood, Hunter Hayes, who played my theater here when he was just a kid. All these people coming along. If you can make it in the music business, give them an A+, because I tell you what, it's a tough business.
It is a tough business. We were here for the Hunter Hayes program back, I guess that was 12 years ago? Something in that
He was,
I don't remember when that was.
He was here and worked in 2000-something, 2002, 3,
Yeah,
somewhere
that's
along
what I
there.
was thinking
And,
it was.
I've got a little clip that I have him in my little pre-show. I asked his dad if I could use a little clip of him. I got him cut into the pre-show, and I'm going to start showing it. If I get, if he tells me I can't use it, I'm going to cut it out. But right now, it's in my pre-show, and the people will be able to see it if they come in and watch my performance 4 days a week here in the theater. When he was just a kid,
Yes.
he
But he was good then.
he comes out doing the squeeze box and playing "Hey, Good Looking,"
Yeah, he was good.
He was good then, and he's better now
he's better now.
he's grown up. And he's become a star.
And a very good one.
Yeah.
He's very talented. So what's left for Mickey Gilley to accomplish from a music career or a professional career now?
Musically speaking, I'm not recording except maybe doing a few things with my one of the urbanettes that I worked with for 17 years, Casey Bays. I intend to do some Christmas songs with her. If I get a chance to do something with a well-known act out there, they asked me to come in and do a duet or something with them, I would jump all over it. But otherwise, I'm not interested in trying to rebuild my career. I'm too old. I'm 78. How much time have I got left? You know, most recording companies are out there looking for the younger acts so they have a longevity with them. And you know, I mean, I've already lived the majority of my life at 78. My dad died at 84. I tell everybody, you know, hey, I'm on borrowed time. I'm very fortunate to be here. I've been trying to wipe myself off the face of the earth for the last 20 years. Hadn't succeeded yet. So, some reason why I'm still here. I don't know why, but I'm still here, and I'm having the best ride of my life. I don't need the hit records. I don't need anything except for the fact is, as long as the people come see me perform and listen to the songs I've made popular back in the 70s and 80s, I'm a happy camper.
It makes sense to me. So you're scheduled now at the theater here in Branson 4 days a week. I'm
only working 4 days a week. Next year, I'm planning on doing in the fall. I'm planning on doing 5 days. And the reason why I'm doing it is because we've got some requests to do some shows at different times. So I'll be working Sunday night, Monday night, and Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. I'll be doing a Wednesday afternoon show at 2 o'clock. And I'll be doing a show on Thursday morning at 10 o'clock in the morning. And that's only during September, October, and November in the fall. Just those 3 months. And I think that's enough.
It's okay.
I still enjoy playing and performing. It doesn't matter to me whether it's in the morning or in the evening or at night. It doesn't matter. It's the same to me. I just look forward to getting out. As long as people want to come see me at a particular point in time, I'll be there.
You'll be there. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to join us. And, you know, we've had a long time that I've looked forward to being able to, you know, get to know you a little bit over the last 20 years and being here at the theater. And I appreciate you taking the time today. I know this is a busy weekend.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and I want to tell everybody, too, that, you know, we got the Gilley beer back online. If anybody wants to try a good cold Gilley beer, it's worth drinking now. It's not like it was in the 80s when he was out there, when we did the film The Urban Cowboy. It's a pretty good beer if you're a beer drinker. I just got it back online. We got an Urban Cowboy radio station fixing to kick in on the 1st of the month. Urban Cowboy Radio, Gilleys.com, and you can tune in and listen to it. It's featuring music by me, Jimmy, Jerry, and Conway and Loretta, and all the people that played Gilleys back in the 80s. So if you get a chance to tune in and listen to some of it, do so.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and we'll be right back after this message.
Are you in pain? Then meet the doctor. Neck pain, headaches? Meet the doctor. Low back and leg pain? Meet the doctor. Arm, shoulder, and hand pain? Carpal tunnel syndrome? Meet the doctor. Injured in an auto accident? Meet Dr. James Bissland at Bissland Chiropractic, where you can get your first visit free this month. Call Bissland Chiropractic at 838-4252. Bissland Chiropractic.
Where were you when the lights went out? Who did you call and when you gave them a shout? Did they pick up the phone? Did you get a machine? Or some front office drone? You know what I mean. You wanna talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about. So call Marie now. Electricians with a mission will get you connected. We're Marie Electric.
Hi, this is Larry Murray with Murray Electric. We appreciate your business and we don't take you for granted. While nobody likes to have electrical problems, we want you to know that we will be here for you when you do need an electrician. And remember, you don't get phone shuffle when you call Murray Electric, because we have a real live electrician that answers the telephone. Remember, if you're in a hurry, call Murray, 918-835-9605. 918-835-9605.
We'll get you connected. We're Murray Electric.
An accident can turn your life upside down. Immediately, you may face problems like who will treat your injuries? How will your car get fixed? What are you going to drive in the meantime? You need solutions now. At Benedict Law Office, the care you deserve can begin at your own home. No office visit is necessary, and you pay no fee if there's no recovery.
At Benedict Law Office, there are no problems, only solutions.
Call Benedict Law Office for your free consultation today.
Welcome back to Health and Information for November of 2014. The second half of our program today is going to be a little different than we planned. I had another guest lined up, but his schedule has not worked out for us at this point, so we're going to reschedule that one for a later time, maybe during the first half of next year. So what I thought we'd do the second half of the program today is talk about a subject that seems to be coming up more and more regularly in the office here and with people as we go toward the end of 2014. The renewal dates for insurances are coming along. The re-sign-ups for the Affordable Health Care Act, better known as Obamacare, are also coming up for the renewals. And we are getting a lot of questions about health insurance, what plans people should pick. And those of you who come into the office are pretty well aware I don't deal with a whole lot of the insurance. And so on the second half of the program today, I thought I'd bring Lisa to help us to discuss insurance. And all of you who come in the office know Lisa, but those of you who don't, who watched, this is her first time she's been on the program. And so Lisa, come on over and let's talk about insurance.
Okay.
Tell us, I know a lot of the people are coming to you and they're asking you, I've got multiple plans that I can choose from now with my employer. Help us go through some of what you're seeing and what the people are telling you and what you're finding is coming up with some of these plans.
The biggest question that I get asked multiple times is, do you take my insurance? And it really isn't the truth behind that, because it basically is, we are in network, so we accept all insurances. It really depends upon the patient and their employer. So when the employer is involved, they normally will give the patient anywhere from 1 to 3 options. We hope it's never one option, but I've heard of that before. We want them to at least have 3 options. And the key to those options are the patient needs to be educated as to what they're choosing. And it seems at this point, that's where you as a doctor and myself come into play, because we're the only ones really that are educating them on this. Because most of the patients that I deal with, I'll ask them, do you have a copay, or do you have a 80% coverage or deductible? What's going on there? And they don't know what these terms mean at all.
So their human resource people are not educating them.
That's correct.
Okay, so what are the plans that you've seen that people have brought to you so far?
So far, what I've seen is a patient says, hey, I have insurance. And then once we start looking into it, we'll say, well, really, do you have insurance? Because the patients are ranging anywhere from $1,500 deductible up to $3,000. I've had a few that have had $5,000 deductible. But another issue is there's a visit max. And in Oklahoma, they normally have to have at least 25 visits that they are supposed to cover under the obligation of the state contracts. Is that what you've heard too?
That's correct. Yes, that's what I've heard. The Affordable Care Act is supposed to have removed the discrimination from insurance, and there are many states. Unfortunately, Oklahoma is not one of them, but there are many states that have unlimited chiropractic visits on equal footing with the medical and physical therapy. We don't have that. Most of ours are running between 25 and 30 visits. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing also deductibles are going up.
Yes.
Now, many people who will call in, and I noticed a couple of phone calls over the last maybe week or 10 days, when people call in, the first thing they ask you is about insurance. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes we have to tell them that until we have all the information and can verify, we don't know, number one, if they have coverage that's going to cover chiropractic. Number two, we don't know what their benefits are until we call them.
That's true, because some patients will call and say, I've got new insurance. I've only been on the job for 30 days. Would you see if I have coverage? And so I'll check, and they may have a $1,500 deductible, but on top of that, they'll have a visit restriction of 25 visits. So when you take into account that whenever you submit a treatment that may be a $90 value within our clinic, their allowable is only going to be about $40. It may be 50. So when you take 50 times 20 visits or so, you're at 2,000. So really they only have about $500 worth of coverage for their chiropractic care. So when I also talk to the patient about if they say, I'm about to end my job and start a new job, what would you suggest that I get as far as insurance goes? And I always recommend to them, it's almost better to find a plan that will offer you an 80-20 instead of a copay. Because your copays, I've seen, range from $25 up to $50 copay. So if your average office visit maybe is $90, that patient, if they're on a 20% copay payment, they're only going to pay us $18 instead of a $50 copay that's mandated. So I always ask them to really look into and ask, what are all my choices? But when the biggest thing that I've seen that they get irritated with is, well, this isn't good coverage, and I'm paying $200 a month for this coverage. Well, technically, they're actually getting what they're paying for, which really is nothing. So the patients that we have coming to us that have absolutely wonderful coverage, which means they have less than a $15 deductible, they have no visit restriction, and they have a 20% copay, they're paying on average between $500 and $700 a month to get quality insurance.
Now, the Affordable Care Act, some people get subsidized for some of that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
If the employers do it, then it's whatever is negotiated between the employers and the employees.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So what changes have you seen since the Affordable Care Act became law as far as the policies go? What have deductibles done?
The deductibles have increased, which is allowing more out-of-pocket expense for the patient.
Because they used to average, what, 1,000?
Yes.
And now they're averaging 15 to 2,000.
Correct.
Okay. And copays have gone up as well.
They have. Usually copays used to be 20, 25. Now I'm seeing them 25 to 45 and as high as 50.
One of the things that I've heard you mention several times also is that we're seeing more and more of the availability of the 80% coverage, 20% patient payment than we had over the last 5 years.
Yes.
Okay. So, what do you tell people now when they ask you which plan should I pick? What are the parameters that you use to give them advice?
I strongly recommend that they bring it to me, because we've been in the business so long, we kind of understand what to look for as far as a deductible and a copay. But if they don't have that option, if they've not really connected, a relationship here within our facility, I'll ask them to sit down with their employer or their human resource and say, what are my options? What should I do? And so forth. But it really depends. It's so individualized, because if the patient is diabetic, if they have heart issues and medication is a primary in their life, then they need to choose a health plan that's going to help pay for their meds. If alternative care is their main source, maybe it's a genetically healthy person that just rarely needs to go to the hospital, they want more of a chiropractic type coverage, then they need to look at, my premiums are going to be higher, but my deductibles are going to be lower. So it really depends on what that individual needs as far as healthcare goes.
So I think I heard you say earlier, most people have choices when it comes time for renewal.
They do. And a lot of them, I've noticed, will say, my meds can cost me $200 to $300 a month, but with this new plan, I'm only paying less than $100. So when they weigh the fact of, I can get my meds a little bit less, and then I may not get as good as chiropractic, but when I can go for care credit, which is a medical financing credit card, then they're able to have their payments as low as $80 a month compared to shooting their premiums up to $300 additional to cover chiropractic.
Okay, and that was the last thing I was going to talk to you about here, is that we do have multiple ways of doing patient financing for those deductibles and copays to keep them within a budget. Care Credit is one of them that we use. If somebody, for whatever reason, we can't get them approved on a Care Credit plan, we do have some in-house financing as a kind of a last resort.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thanks for clearing that up, because I know that's become a discussion as we're here in the last 2 months of the year, and a lot of these policies are now coming up for renewal. So if you have any questions, any problems, you don't know what to do, bring them in and give them to Lisa and let her look at what the options are and find out where your goals are so that we can help you maybe pick the best plan for you. And before we close the program today, I want to go into a couple of other things that are going on that we need to cover. And we, here as we're filming now toward the middle of November, we have our annual Christmas toy drive coming up, and that's in December for the Dayspring Villa, and you'll be getting more information on that through our email list, and we'll have a chiropractic health minute video for that this year to discuss what the requirements are, what the needs are this year. They do change every year depending upon the age and number of children that are within the Dayspring Villa. And for those of you who don't know, Dayspring Villa is a domestic violence shelter here in Tulsa County, and we've been working with them now for probably 3 or 4 years with food drives and with the toy drive at Christmas time. Also, 2015, we're going to be celebrating our 20th anniversary of our Tulsa practice. Starting May 1st, so kind of keep an eye out for that. We got a lot of things going on there. We got our events every week. You should receive an email for the happenings for the next week. We have a lot of things going on each month. We have our Bring a Friend Friday. We have a Patient Appreciation Day of different events. I know Hawaii Day is a real popular one. We're going to have that again in 2015. We're also going to have our day for school supply drive, food drive, and the toy drive. We're working now on some other themes that are kind of fun. In October here of 2014, we did the National Chocolate Day. That went over really well, and everybody seemed to really like that one. I have a feeling we're going to repeat that one again in 2015. So if you have a specific event that you think would be kind of fun to do, make a suggestion to one of the staff and we'll look into that. Also, between now and the first of the year, we're going to start a new program of setting up where we come out to the various businesses through the Tulsa area and provide a 10-minute trigger point chair massage to help people find areas of spinal distortion and tightness and abnormalities, to see whether or not there's some postural distortion going on. If you would like to have us come to your employer, talk to our front desk or one of our staff, and we can set up a time to come out for a couple hours and talk to people that you work with who might be having some problems that maybe they don't want to make an official office visit on, but maybe that they would like to have that done. And not only that, but the chair massages are very relaxing and they feel good as well. That's an event we're doing pretty much any time throughout the year now, so we can schedule those pretty much at a convenience for most employers. And that's about going to wrap us up here for November 2014. I do want to mention to you that back on October 5th, we did have the 25th anniversary of the Mickey Gilley Theater and Mickey Gilley's program in Branson, as we talked about earlier here on the program. On the screen right now, you can see the phone number for the Mickey Gilley Theater. They told me that if people would like to order a video, if you weren't able to be in Branson for that program, that was an amazing afternoon, evening in Branson, and a lot of congratulations to Mickey Gilley. There were a lot of surprises, a lot of people who came to the program that were unexpected. So if you'd like to have a copy of that, the phone number for Mickey Gilley Theater is on the screen, and you can call the theater and arrange to order the DVDs. I know they're backed up time-wise right now because I guess they got a lot more ordered than they originally expected. But that was an amazing program. And I'd like to thank Mickey Gilley for taking the time to visit with us in Branson when we did the interview with him here earlier on the program. We had a really good time with him, and we appreciate the time that he took to visit and his candidness in answering the questions. I hope you've enjoyed that interview. So until next time, I'm Dr. James Bissland. Have a very happy, healthy, and safe month, and we'll see you next time.
Are you in pain? Then meet the doctor. Neck pain, headaches? Meet the doctor. Low back and leg pain? Meet the doctor. Arm, shoulder, and hand pain? Carpal tunnel syndrome? Meet the doctor. Injured in an auto accident? Meet Dr. James Bissland at Bissland Chiropractic, where you can get your first visit free this month. Call Bissland Chiropractic at 838-4252. Bissland Chiropractic.
Where were you when the lights went out? Who did you call and when you gave them a shout? Did they pick up the phone? Did you get a machine or some front office drone? You know what I mean. You wanna talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about. So call Marie now. Electricians with a mission will get you connected. We're Murray Electric.
Hi, this is Larry Murray with Murray Electric. We appreciate your business and we don't take you for granted. While nobody likes to have electrical problems, we want you to know that we will be here for you when you do need an electrician. And remember, you don't get phone shuffle when you call Murray Electric, because we have a real live electrician that answers the telephone. Remember, if you're in a hurry, call Murray, 918-835-9605. 918-835-9605.
We'll get you connected. We're Murray Electric.
An accident can turn your life upside down. Immediately, you may face problems like who will treat your injuries? How will your car get fixed? What are you going to drive in the meantime? You need solutions now. At Benedict Law Office, the care you deserve can begin at your own home. No office visit is necessary, and you pay no fee if there's no recovery.
At Benedict Law Office, there are no problems, only solutions.
Call Benedict Law Office for your free consultation today.